Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do something absolutely marvellously wonderful. It's a pie, it's a sweet pie, it's the ultimate apple pie. So this was requested by Hazel B a couple of years ago, I think, and so I finally got around to it, and she wanted proper apple pie, and I reckon this will qualify. And to all Americans who lay claim to this as being their iconic thing, it's as American as apple pie. I'll just point out that apple pie was recorded in 1390 in England, and that apples are not native to North America. They were brought by European settlers. But I'm sure you'll love it anyway. So if you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, and let's get on with it. Apple pie. Now I'm going to prep the filling. So I've got 1 kilo of apples, 70 grams of white granulated sugar, 70 grams of demerara sugar, and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, half teaspoon of ground ginger, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And later on, when the fruit has macerated, we'll need 2 teaspoons of tapioca flour. Now, I can't get tapioca flour, but I just happen to have cassava flour, which is what tapioca is made from. I don't know why I've got it, but I've had it for quite a while. This is the first chance I've had to use it. If you can't get that, you can use corn flour, corn starch, which is very common. So these apples from my garden, except for these 3, which are from the supermarket, and these are eating apples, so they're, you know, sweet. But these ones are very tart. I think they're crab apples, actually. You want tart apples. Ideally, Bramleys are what people usually use for apple pie, but these will be pretty fab as well. So I've got to peel these, core them, and slice them. Come back in half an hour. This recipe is quite different from lots of regular apple pie recipes. For one thing, you don't pre-cook the apples, but we do macerate them in the spices and the sugar. And what that does, basically, it just makes it super juicy. In fact, a lot of the water will come out, but you'll get a juicy syrup. So what I need to do is just mix all these together in a bag. Okay, and then as we slice the apples, we'll pop them in the bag straight away so they don't go brown. And shake them up, give them a bit of a massage so they get all coated in the good stuff. Now, I still haven't got an apple corer. They always break anyway, they're a bit, you know, rubbish. But I have got a metal tube. This is actually for making cream horns, but I've never used it for that. So I'm just going to whack this through the middle. Missed. And peel the apple. Do you know what, if I put that on a rotating spindle, I could do it like a lathe. And that would save, minutes of time that would save. Right, let's get the core out. There it goes. Oops. So let's get those all proper coated, and then I'll just leave that, not in the fridge, just leave it out for 2 or 3 hours to macerate, and basically want the volume of the apples to reduce to 2/3 of what it is now. So leave that alone, turn it over like every half hour. Macerating has had quite a bit of time 2.5 hours, I think. So there's a fair bit of liquid accumulated in the bottom. I can't actually tell if that's reduced in volume. I think it has quite a bit, so I'll just let that carry on and make the pastry. So I've got 350 grams of plain all-purpose flour, 225 grams of unsalted butter, 50 grams of caster sugar, powdered sugar, and 1 egg. I'll also have a little bit of cold water to just bring it together at the end. So what we need to do, first of all, I'll mix the sugar in, or that'll be easier to do when it's all ordinary powder form. And then we rub in the butter using our fingertips. And we do that until we get something that looks like a coarse sand. Something like that. So now we'll whack the egg in. And a little splash of water. We want just enough water to make it come together in a bowl. But if you add too much, you can't get it out. There you go, done it. Now we'll wrap it in plastic film and leave it in the fridge to rest for 30 minutes. Okay, it's time to put the pie together. So I've got a dish which is 22 centimetres, 8.5 inches diameter, and never been used, I don't think. But I'm still going to grease it with butter because I don't trust non-stick coating. Right, there's my pastry. Flour on the worktop. Take a bit over half the dough. So to get your pastry into the tin, just roll it over your rolling pin and then unroll it over the tin. That saves a lot of agony. And just trim off the excess. Now I need to sort out the filling. Separate the apples from the juice. 2 teaspoons of semolina flour or cassava flour or cornstarch or corn flour. Now I'm just going to pour some of the liquor in, or the syrup. Now I'm going to do a lattice top, because I like doing lattice tops. So normally when you do a lattice you do it with quite narrow strips, but I fancy doing a wide one, and that should be a bit quicker as well. So I'll moisten the rim with water and then put 1 strip on. Just stick it down at one end. Now I'm going to do the, if that's the warp, this will be the weft. So we need to peel back alternate strips. Okay, put it back and peel back these 3. And so on. There we are. Now I'm just going to tidy up the edge, and then we want to get the oven preheating to 180 degrees Celsius for a fan oven, convection oven. That's 200 for a conventional one, and that's gas 5. If you're just doing a regular, flat top, you'll need to cut some slits in it to let the steam escape. Now we need to glaze the pie, so I've got a beaten egg and a sploosh of milk. Technical term, sploosh. Now we just paint the top of the pie and the rim with the egg wash. And that goes in the oven for quite a lot longer than pies normally go in for. So you want the internal temperature to reach 90 degrees Celsius, and for the slices of apple to feel soft. Okay, it's actually been 50 minutes. Oh, 92. So, yeah, that's done. That's done, and the top looks fantastic. Just let that cool down. I'm going to make some Chantilly cream. Okay, Chantilly cream is probably the easiest thing ever in the history of the universe. So you want 200 ml of double cream, heavy cream, a sploosh of vanilla extract, or real vanilla, or bean paste, or whatever, and a tablespoon of caster sugar. So I've got the cream in there. I'll just add my sploosh of vanilla extract. I might have slightly over-whipped it because it's very firm, but that's amazing. Fantastic, amazing, wonderful apple pie and Chantilly cream. And I've had a sneaky taste because I was hungry. Here we go. I could be wrong, but I think that is actually the best apple pie I've ever had in my life. So I think that, you know, maybe the macerating is a bit of a faff, but it's absolutely worth doing. That is absolutely, utterly marvellous. So, make it. And thanks for watching. See you next time.